Hey guys, today is December 14th, 2020, and it's the day of the total solar eclipse that was visible over Argentina. And I'm going to show you a few rituals to this date that have to do with the X eclipses. And I'm going to show you how it's also related to some numbers from Revelation 8:11. We're going to take a look at this 3313 and 8:11 from Revelation, the falling wormwood star. We're going to take a look at 9:11 and also Revelation 6:12, how this is all connected to eclipses and the rituals that went on today. And then the main part of this video is going to be about the death of Eddie Van Halen. And now his death was part of an eclipse ritual for an upcoming eclipse in 2021. There's an eclipse over Hudson Bay on June 10th, 2021. That's related to Eddie Van Halen's death. But first, I want to show you the rituals for today. The half-X eclipse. So we had the total solar eclipse over Argentina, and it's the exact halfway point between the eclipses that form the X over Carbondale, Illinois. And the first part of that X here was August 21st, 2017, and that was Millennium Lunation 1218. And just a quick refresher here on calculating the Millennium Lunation. Here we have the Brown Lunation number for August 21st, 2017 as 1171. We subtract 953 to get the Millennium Lunation number, which is 218. And if you remember, moon in Hebrew gematria sums to 218 as well, and it's the new moon that occults the sun for a total solar eclipse. But today, the halfway point, the total solar eclipse, was Millennium Lunation 259. And if we sum those two together, the first eclipse with the halfway point, 259, it sums to 477. And I just plugged in 477 into a Google search for the news, and I got this article to come up. It said Mumbai adds 477 new COVID cases. So I took a look at the city of Mumbai, India, to see what the connection here was. And for the area of the city of Mumbai, it gives a square miles of 233. .233 is the 13th Fibonacci number. And the solar eclipse over Argentina was in the 13th zodiac, Ophiuchus. So if we sum the two Millennium Lunation numbers, sum to 477, 477 new cases in Mumbai, which is as an area of 233, 13 Fibonacci. Eclipse in the 13th unofficial zodiac, Ophiuchus. And if we go back and take a look at this 8/21/2017 date, that was also the 233rd day of the year. So all of these 13 connections with the Fibonacci number, the 13th Fibonacci, the 13th zodiac, But I didn't look a whole lot into the rest of the information for today. I just wanted to show you that real quick. And the reason it's so significant is because when we take a look at the Eddie Van Halen ritual, this annular eclipse that happens in 2021 is on June 10th, or 610, and 610 is also a Fibonacci number, the 15th Fibonacci number. So we have our Fibonacci connection here. I'm going to go back and do a little review before I start the Eddie Van Halen portion here. I did these two videos about a year ago. The 1288 German connection. There was 1288 weeks, total weeks, between declarations of war on Germany by the United States. So that's our 1288 that we're going to look at. And then the 1377, I made a video about how the 1377 connected to Caroline Kennedy and Wormwood as well. So we're going to do a quick review on that before we get to the Eddie Van Halen stuff, because I need to show you this date of December 25th, 2019, Christmas 2019, connects to the Eddie Van Halen ritual here. But quick review on Caroline Kennedy and her connection to Wormwood. She was born on November 27th, 1957. And if we add 10,377 days to her birth, it lands on 4/26/1986, and that was the day of the Chernobyl disaster. And as I've shown you before, Chernobyl translates to wormwood in the Ukrainian. And the significance here of the 10,377 days, this is like a 1377. And if we take a look at Revelation 8:11, the ordinal gematria value is 1377, so that's where we're getting our wormwood connection here. So on the date of 12/25/2019, Caroline Kennedy was 62 years, 29 days old, and 6229 is the 811th prime. And 12/25/2019 was a new moon. It was the beginning of Millennium Lunation 247. Brown Lunation 1200. Millennium Lunation 247. Caroline Bouvier Kennedy sums to 247 in the ordinal cipher. Our 811 connection, she's connected to Wormwood in the 1377 with Chernobyl. And her initials in the Jewish cipher sum to 15, CBK. And we're going to be looking at 610, the eclipse. And that's the 15th Fibonacci. But we're going to be focusing on this date, 12/25/2019. When we look at Eddie Van Halen here. Here's the 1288 connection to Germany. You can take a look at that, but I'm going to show you this date as well at the end here, 12/22/2021. There's a connection to Mars and Eddie Van Halen. I'll show you how the calendar works with these two dates on the Mars calendar and the Gregorian calendar. So on October 6, 2020, Eddie Van Halen died of throat cancer. And 10/6 was the day that Mars made its closest approach to Earth. And Mars is associated with the chakra of the throat. Eddie died of throat cancer on the day Mars made its closest approach to Earth. Mars has to do with the throat chakra. And it's number 5 on the Tree of Life. Mars. We're taking a look at the number 5 here again. But something interesting about Mars that connects it to Revelation 8:11, or the number 8:11, is that Mars, the synodic period, ranges from 765 to a maximum of 811 days. So there's another 8:11 connection to Mars here. But Eddie Van Halen connected to the Mars there with his death on the closest approach. Now Eddie is also connected to Back to the Future. He made a cameo in the movie Back to the Future. We're going to take a look at this timeline and show how it connects to the upcoming eclipse over Hudson Bay. But if we look at the Back to the Future timeline, when Marty goes back to 1955, on November 8th, 1955, that's when Marty dresses up as Darth Vader, and he plays Eddie Van Halen and tells George that he's an alien. That was on November 8th, 1955, in the timeline of Back to the Future. So I'm going to show you the first connection here with Eddie Van Halen and Back to the Future in our 1288. Back to the Future was released on July 3rd, 1985. Van Halen died on 10/6/2020. Count the end date, and it's 12,880 days. That's our first 1288. Now Van Halen, he was born on 1/26/1955, which is interesting. Because Wormwood sums to 126 as well. But if we go to the date he was born, to the date of his cameo in the Back to the Future timeline, he made his cameo 9 months and 13 days after he was born. And this is a very significant number to the upcoming eclipse that he's related to here. This June 10th, 2021 eclipse has an eclipse magnitude of 943.943, and that connects to the 913 because 943 is the 9th prime times the 13th prime. He makes his cameo 9 months, 13 days after he was born on 11/8, which also could be 8/11, born on 1/26. But there's our connection, 913, eclipse magnitude 0.943, 9, 9th prime times 13th prime. So here's another 1288 connection to Germany here. We had the German connection with the 1288 weeks, but Marty, the reason he goes back to 1955, he's being chased by Libyan terrorists in a Volkswagen van. And of course, Volkswagen is a German company. And this connects to the eclipse because Libyans, or the country of Libya, is in the 218 country calling code. Libya is the 218 calling code. And we had Millennium Lunation 218. Moon and Hebrew gematria sums to 218. So here's the connection to Christmas 2019 with the 247 and the 911. Christmas Day 2019 was Millennium Lunation 247, and Eddie died 9 months and 11 days after Christmas 2019, and that's going to leave 247 days to the eclipse on June 10th, 2021 over Hudson Bay. Now the 9/11 connection to Hudson Bay, which I've showed you guys before. Hudson Bay is part of Arctic Ocean Subdivision 9.11. And I've talked about Hudson Bay being the location of a major event, possibly the next 9/11. Also, I've showed you this connection before, but Hudson Bay, this is called the Arctic Bridge, a shipping route through Hudson Bay, which I've equated to the Golden Gate Bridge, but this is the Arctic Bridge through Hudson Bay. And Eddie died of throat cancer. Mars is related to the throat chakra, and the throat chakra is the bridge between the upper and lower chakras, or the upper and lower self. Another connection to Hudson Bay. And if we look at his initials, EVH, they sum to 713 in the Jewish cipher, and 713 is the 9th times 11th primes. That's related to Saturn. In the Hebrew gematria, Saturn sums to 713. And that eclipse is on 610, the 15th Fibonacci. Each row or column in the magic square of Saturn sums to 15. Total sum is 45. Now another 1288 connection is with Eddie's mother, Eugenia. She was born in Indonesia, in this city that I'm not even going to try to pronounce here, but she was born on September 21st, 1914 in Indonesia, in this city. And then she was married on August 11th, 1950, another 8/11. But I went and took a look at this city that she was born in, and it gave a population on the 2014 census of 120,808, another 1288, with Eddie Van Halen's mother, married on 8/11. So this is an image of Eddie Van Halen from his 1984 tour, and this was an image of him performing in San Diego on May 21st, 1984. You can see he's wearing the tiger pants. And I've been talking a lot about the tiger year, and that begins on February 1st, 2022. So if we go from this performance where he wore the tiger pants in San Diego, May 21st, 1984, to the first day of the tiger year, February 1st, 2022, it's 13,770 days. Back to our gematria value of Revelation 8:11. February 1st is the beginning of the year of the water tiger. Mars is the 5th position on the Tree of Life. The 5th element on the Chinese Wuxing is water. 5th element in the alchemical philosophy is ether. So we have the water tiger beginning on 2/1/2022. What's interesting too, if we look at the Assyrian calendar, which I'll cover more later, on the Assyrian calendar, February begins the month of flooding, so another water connection. So we had Eddie Van Halen connected to Mars, the god of war, and I've shown this number before, 12/22/2021. There's actually a lot of 12/22s on different calendars that show up during the winter of 2021. But I want to take a look at the Mars calendar. On January 9th, 2022, January 9th, 2022 is Rishaba 22 on the Darien or Mars calendar, and Rishaba is the 12th month on the Mars calendar, so 12/22 is the same as January 9th, 2022. So here's our date on the Gregorian calendar, 12/22/2021, 1/9/2022, 18 days apart, and you can see their dates. The day of the year and the days they leave in the year are exact reciprocals of each other. 12/22/2021, 356th day. 12/22 on the Mars calendar leaves 356 days in the year. And this date of January 9th, 2022, very significant. This happens to be a Venus star point on January 9th, 2022. The 4th of 5 points and the 32nd Venus pentagram, starting from the Revelation 12 sign, January 9th, 2022. Now I showed you the 3313 at the beginning here with the 477 minutes is 33.13% of a day. 477, the sum of our first and midpoint eclipses of the X. 3313 coding in Revelation begins at Revelation 6:12, the 108th verse. And it's this 108 ratio between the moon, earth, and sun that governs our celestial eclipse mechanics here. 108 moons between the 108 moon diameters between the earth and the moon, 108 sun diameters between the earth and the sun, and then the sun, we're told, is 108 earths in diameter. But it's this 108 ratio that's related to the total solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse. And of course, Revelation 6:12, the 108th verse, refers to two types of eclipses. And the sun became black as sackcloth of hair. This can refer to a total solar eclipse. And the moon became as blood, a lunar eclipse. So Revelation 6:12, very specifically, mathematically encoded, intentionally for the eclipses, and that's the beginning of our 3313 star number. 6:12, 8:11, 9:11. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit. Part of this ritual with Eddie Van Halen was he's the king of 10 fingers and 6 strings, died on 10/6. Once again, these aren't my rituals, these are the powers that be that are showing us all these rituals, so very specific revelation rituals, very specific to eclipses, and just a fascinating connection here with the 1377 and the Tiger year. Okay, guys, that's going to be it. The next video I'm going to do is going to be about the age of Pisces and the age of Aquarius again. One thing I just wanted to kind of leave you guys with is some gematria here with Eddie Van Halen, and how it connects to this. Kind of an interesting connection, I think, here. But if we look at the gematria value of his full name, it sums to 221. And if we look at the symbols, the alchemical symbols for water and air, kind of looks like a V and an A. VA 221, just like the ordinal gematria value of Eddie Van Halen's full name. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching.